Hey everyone, Alex of All Trades here. Sorry, I was a little distracted by audio issues, and it was weird. I had to re-add my audio from the game. It was showing up in the mixer, but not showing any source for it, so I had to, just completely redo it, and I don't. So that's why I have a long, live waiting screen on this one, because I realized, wait a minute, I don't have, any game audio from this. So I made sure that was working. Essentially, that's what I was doing. Erase. So there is some health regen. Like I said, I don't feel bad about killing that gangster. Oh, there's a guy over there. Wow. Forgot about how the mouse works in this game. Oh yeah, that's right, it's shitty. I don't know why, but this opening reminds me of Resident Evil 2. Just this area. Maybe because it's like a bunch of stuff piled together and some of it's like triage based, really. Just come over here for no reason. They're looking at people's windows, there's stuff in those windows. I like that. That means that space inside the hospital is actually already loaded in. It's not a separate instance.
Another night. Surely I can endure another night.
Your city needs you. City, you. Life saved by efficient medical aid is a blow struck at the blank of the flu pandemic. I think I've already read that, essentially. Is there something shiny over there? So I just...
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
Yeah, because it's a place where you could get access to
Good evening,
supplies.
sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us.
Jesus, I'm tall.
I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
No, everyone
Actually,
just
yes.
knows you.
We met once before at the Rockefeller University
Fuck
in
that
New
university.
York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
How old is Dr.
He
Reed?
was also very confident about your future.
35?
And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
He's healthy.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
Okay, that's not a necessary statement, I think.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
You're the one who suggested that it lacked talented people. I'm the one who said that the people mattered more than the building. I don't know why he said don't be fooled by appearances. I wasn't. You were?
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Then why did you bring up the bad ones?
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Ooh, that is glowing praise. Corcoran is convinced that Gwyneth Brannigan is qualified as a nurse. I don't know why, but my brain, I saw that as overqualified at first, and then my brain course corrected to over equaled for some reason, which is not a word, and then corrected back to qualified. Gwyneth is overqualified as a nurse, according to What is his name? Corcoran. Tippets.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Jonathan Reed's
Don't
face
get me
during
wrong.
his
Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now and again.
That's fair. Tell me about... Oh, hint required. Ooh, interesting. Okay. I don't know why... your life in London sounds like personal questions. Hint required, hint required, hint required. Alright, well, it was nice talking to you.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippets.
He doesn't say goodbye, I notice. What a jerk. I totally could.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal.
What?
You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon.
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency?
She's
well,
crazy?
Tonight
or...
maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
I think Thelma's crazy. She's not healthy, right? Okay, she's healthy, but she's insane. Good to know. I know it's weird to say that in a game with vampires about someone who claims to be a vampire, but she doesn't claim to be a vampire in such a way that people usually claim to be vampires in games where vampires exist. If that makes sense. You are a vampire?
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Okay. Cotards? Okay, I'm gonna have to ask that one too.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like?
I like how he has skepticism
Hear my
in his
body
voice.
crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades.
I think that's
I
illness.
sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
Are we sure she's healthy? What is Cotard's syndrome?
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
Possibly. Thelma is affected by the Cotard syndrome and believes she is a vampire. Interesting. Really interesting. I'm gonna assume she's a patient here?
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want.
Sure.
As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Okay. You have enemies?
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure.
Touches
But
your
I
feet.
sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
No, that's because there's actually something in the garden. You're not insane about that thing.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal.
By
But do not
bleeding them
interfere with
dry.
them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Sure, honey. A new citizen investigation is available. Press tab to open the local investigations menu. I'm sorry, that is just so funny. Citizen investigations are displayed here, categorized by districts. You can start a new citizen quest by tracking it with the left mouse button. Then access to your map. Access to your map? Is that too necessary? Then access your map to locate the area to explore. It is not necessary. You did not need that too. Good to know. Why did... This is a foreign game, I believe. Because the English... But of course, almost every video game is made in English too. So I'm gonna try to cut them some slack on mistakes like this. I'm gonna try, doesn't mean I'm gonna accomplish that. Find out who is spying on Thelma. I will try to find out. Thelma Howcroft is a delusional patient at the Pembroke Hospital who is convinced that she is already dead or undead and trapped inside a rotting body. Despite her obvious mental issues, the woman claims she is being spied on by some men and women who want to hunt her down because she is a vampire. Is she referring to the Guard of Prewin? I can't take the risk of having these hunters investigate around the hospital. Maybe I should spy on them and protect Thelma Howcroft from these hunters. I absolutely 100% believe that Thelma is is noticing skulking figures in the garden. She's wrong about why they're there, I imagine, but she is not wrong that they're there. But she is crazy too. She's definitely crazy. That is not up for debate. Personal questions. Hit required, hit required. Who are you really?
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that
Why
not
is she
enough
just
for you?
readily telling
puny
people
mortal?
she's a vampire?
What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm
That's not what I was
curious to know
asking.
who you were before becoming a vampire.
It was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
Sure.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
That was cruel or not.
Damn. The pain. It's here again.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here.
Oh, he
More
gave himself a
interest,
promotion,
my
I
lord.
see.
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
He's... Let me give him a medical check.
Soldier, do you need assistance?
I'm fine. Just do something for this pain, will you? That's all I'm asking.
Okay. Does it say he's healthy? His face was blown up. What does this game consider unhealthy at this point? Alcoholism, apparently, is unhealthy. Fair. That's totally fair. Yeah, okay.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Huh.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
It sounds like nerve damage. Who is treating you?
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Yeah, okay, I get it. You're being facetious. Hit required. Alright. I'm gonna try to help you. Personal questions. Yes. Can you talk to me about vampire lady?
How close are you to Miss Horcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here.
What?
Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
For an insane person? Did you seriously? Thomas sees Thelma Howcroft as living proof that there is hope for him. Because an insane person bites him? Man, this guy's got a low bar for hope right now.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of me blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
And it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
Okay, if you're willing and it prevents her from going after the unwilling, you're adults, even if she's insane.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
Okay. I feel sorry for both of you now. Like, I don't know, like, this is such a depressing scenario that I can't even, like, feel judgy over it.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir.
No.
No offense.
That's relatively fair. Did I get it? question? No idea.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
I'll come back. if I do
Discussed on every street corner. The daily
figure out a way
routine.
to make your pain go away.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly
you
nice and polite.
Say that,
A
yeah.
little delirious, perhaps. But
What
who
was you
wouldn't
talking
be
about?
after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor.
Salt.
That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
Okay. The docks. Wow, it's not really good blood quality. Be evil to murder a priest? You be quiet. So you killed this person.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
Yeah, she is not actually a monster though, she's just crazy.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
It's kind of his job.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the Dockers trade union. The Wet Boot Boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Oh. You mean in time of me playing this game that happened like 5 minutes ago? Who leads the game now?
Who
Well, maybe
leads
like
the
20.
gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Okay, I literally killed him 20 minutes ago. How do you know this? Has the game been threatening you?
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
Oh, that's weird. Although there is some things about gangs that are kind of interesting. There was this old lady who fed gang members all the time, and someone like from a rival gang or something fucked with her, and the gang like did not take that lightly. There was another case. There was a tutor who taught kids in the gang's territory for free, and someone fucked with him. They also did not take that lightly. Alright, tell me about Tom.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in despair.
How could it
Well,
be
yeah, 'cause
otherwise?
the disease.
The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Yeah, I agree. What's the, like, I imagine you all have to pay taxes. If they're not actually helping you, what the fuck is that for then?
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
Then why did you mention corruption? what do you do for a living? Why is that a question? He's obviously a priest. Like, clearly a priest.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the
Okay,
docks.
I was wrong.
And I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our
Sort of
Lord.
priest. Yeah.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
So he's a pastor before pastors existed.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what
Oh,
you were
it
trying to
is.
say. Not
You-
mine, anyway.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really. But I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
Yeah, what do you... That's true, but it's not as woo-woo as that made it sound. It's just that lowered stress, i.e. cortisol levels in the brain, and heightened levels of oxytocin in the brain, i.e. the love chemical, can improve healing of everything. Higher cortisol levels will actually make your immune system worse, and you won't be able to fight off illness as well. So it's really good. And one of the things that can help you get to that point is having visitors when you're in the hospital. How do you feel?
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually.
Then where'd you lay
William
down?
drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm
I believe all I
especially
need is
well
rest.
versed in it.
And then I can go back to the people who need me.
Not just because I'm a vampire.
Goodbye,
Why
Mr.
are
Hampton.
you screaming
We'll
at
talk
me?
again later.
Fear and disgust on every street corner. The daily routine.
I think the people lying in bed are ones that I can't talk to. Is this Tippett?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed, yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd.
Are you the
Welcome
one
aboard, I
asshole
suppose.
in the
Does my
group?
arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
Excuse me. I like how I don't have a response to that. He's healthy. Yeah,
If you have a
okay,
problem
good.
with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice.
Isn't he
the
allowed to
benefit
hire who
of
he
his
wants to
position.
hire?
But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
Okay. Don't be a dick. So I'm gonna say, like, this option, the one I have my mouse already over, is probably the best one. Jealousy is kind of, and also he's not experiencing jealousy, he's experiencing envy. Is not the way to get this to calm down, and neither is a threat. I don't need to threaten him. I might threaten him later. Stop! Jesus Christ, shut up! Why did you just scream at me? Why are you screaming? Stop screaming. Do you want in my lap? Sit down. We were so chill today until I started playing. Sit. No need for animosity.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital instead of a burden.
He's such a great person.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Who didn't say that? Waverly disapproves of modern medicine methods? Why are you a doctor? Can I eat this guy? Stop. Stop it.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want
I
you
am
to admit
threatening
you
him now.
used those men to improve your theories.
It's... What? Actually, yeah, fuck you. I don't need to justify. Who the fuck are you?
I don't see any reason why I should justify my actions to you.
That's true, Dr. Reed. The only judge has to be yourself. The question is, are you judging yourself hard enough?
Oh my god, why are you such a dick? I knew there was gonna be, like, some dick, and the second he started talking, I was like, oh, it's gonna be him.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd.
I feel like we've agreed on two things, at least so far. Like the fact that he shouldn't judge me.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
I might smack you then. Hope that's okay with you. See, you're a dick.
What can I do for you, Doctor?
Oh, is this... What's her name? It is. Okay, never mind. Bye.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
I didn't recognize her.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Did you, like, wait for me to turn away from you?
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm
Why
Dr.
are you
Jonathan
wearing
Reed.
your hat inside?
How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
Why is everyone fucking heard of me?
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes. Thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
That's good. But what are you doing in the meantime?
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Okay.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
I think they don't give a fuck. That's what I say. Oh no! I arrived at the hospital full of dying, flu epidemic patients, and I was not offered a cup of tea. That's what I assume.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
Beatrice questions the Pembroke Hospital's efficiency. Pippa Hawkins. Pippa saves beds for patients who can pay. That seems... enterprising might be the nicest way I can put that.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
Although at the same time, maybe hospitals should have some payment, because how else are they going to pay for all their labor and resources?
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Really? Payment for services rendered? Okay. Hit required, hit required, hit required, hit required. Okay.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Talk to your son.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here, then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
Fatigue. He is sick.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
Do I have medicine?
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
I guess I don't have medicine. I was like, wait a minute. I don't even think I have medicine to give him. Why did it give me that option?
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Well, I'm still gonna force you to talk a little bit.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
Jesus. I'm not gonna say you're in good hands. That's not good hands. It's crazy hands.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
Okay. Maybe I need to address his...
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
I'm alright.
Does he know
Don't
how to
waste your
contact
time with
you?
me.
So I need to find a way to make him that medicine so that he can talk to me.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Says you're healthy.
Is there anything else that's bothering you? Can I help in any way?
I'm all right. Considering the state of this place, I should consider myself lucky, I guess.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter. And a good one, too.
It's a really good way to
But that
lose
means I need
fingers.
both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Like, literally, even today, carpenters lose fingers.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
They're
I often had
professionals.
professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wood and nails, not flesh and bones.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility.
What?
My
No, I
apologies.
want to! What's the fucking point of being a doctor? Hint required, hint required, hint required. Poor Harvey, I want to help him.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
When I do, I will fucking heal your arm.
What a blundering idiot.
Cannot leave that alone. Unfinished letter. Pembroke Hospital, November 2nd. My dear children, sorry I did not write to you before, but it hurts like hell just to write these few words on bloody paper. Don't worry, Daddy will go out of the hospital as soon as the doctors fix his arm. Aw, poor Harvey. In the meantime, if you need something, go see Mr. Chadwick at the construction site and tell him you are Harvey Fiddick's children. Remember, you remember Robert Chadwick? The big guy with a mustache who helped me repair the house doors last spring? Go see him and ask for a few bob. He won't refuse to spare you a few. I'm sorry I can't work anymore for now, but we'll figure out something as soon as I'm out. Don't worry, everything will be fine as soon as Daddy's arm is strong again. As soon as the doctors have fixed my arm, I feel so sorry for him. Like, Jesus. What is this? What sample of William Bishop? Harvey will not be able to feed his family as long as his arm is still injured. Social circle. He's Dr. Waverly Ackroyd is arguing with him. I need to find some way to help Harvey.
But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit.
I will not let you down, my boy. They lack the resources, but we have some of the most brilliant minds in London at Pembroke.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland. Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
No names of kids Thoreau anymore. Why not? It's a kind of cool name.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
Okay.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me.
How
I am
old
honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
In my 40s?
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
You know, respiratory illnesses mostly just have to run their course and you treat the symptoms so the patient doesn't die, right?
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
Wasn't that one of my options when talking to Ackroyd?
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
Why do you guys think blood transfusion is so helpful in a respiratory epidemic? Unless the person is not getting enough nutrients and thus becomes anemic, I'm really not sure what you think is going to be helped by that. How is he? Of course he's not.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude.
He's just fanboying out, guys.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve
it's just a normal
True.
Of nature.
Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
If people are dying, why are you acting like this is some great battle? And even in that's not a really good analogy, considering the fact that that is battles also involve people dying.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes,
Why
maybe.
did I say that so suggestively?
I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no,
I
Dr.
will.
But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time.
I am definitely gonna go over there. But I love for one of the main characters is like, it's the player character is like, excuse me, you want me to be your errand boy?
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and
envy.
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Oh, wow. That was a really negative opinion. Also, why is Jonathan asking, like, oh, why is it so hard to work with him? You met him, he's a dick!
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Please tell me you're
Harvey
not,
Fiddick
like,
is a
doing it
patient
without...
suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him? Or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Oh, you mean... the fact that he's got kids that need food?
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury.
Oh.
He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father. Ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Oh, wait, what? You do have to remain neutral. That is
This
true.
personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I
Why
agree.
do you think a transfusion
But that does
would
not
help him?
excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Oh yeah,
think
that's
keeping his
inappropriate.
distance was a mistake?
It
All
was.
I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears.
Okay.
Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
I like this guy. Because I appreciate a healthy balance between a thirst for knowledge and a respect for human life. Because I think he wants to help, he wants to gain knowledge in medical science because he values human life, not because he has some, like, ego issue, which is the only reason why you should really want to improve medical science.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
You're a cool guy. Where am I in relation to everything I've looked at? I'm actually kind of confused. Are you Strickland?
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Tip it, whatever. Ackroyd, go fuck
Thank you
yourself,
for your
Ackroyd.
time. We'll talk later.
Actually, you know what? Sorry. No,
I'm quite
talk to
busy
me.
right now, Dr. Reed.
I changed my mind. Aha! Yeah, this one.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something
Are you
in particular?
projecting?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
Would you shut? What the fuck, cat?
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
I don't think that's true. I think because you're far too emotional in how you talk about everything. For me to trust that's true. I really don't trust you.
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
Other people may say that's too conservative a point of view.
Conservative? And what are you going to say to Mr. Fiddick if he loses his arm because of the operation? Because that's what's going to happen if the surgery is a failure.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the best thing is.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Fiddick, but I know I don't trust him.
Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate. It's locked, all right.
I'm sorry.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague?
Oh.
Are you
Dead?
a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean, you used to be a doctor? Was
No,
your license revoked?
his license is from India.
It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
Oh, he's a trade. I didn't know that was a thing. So he's healthy. Okay, wait a minute. If he runs a morgue, is it entirely possible that Rakesh saw my dead body?
Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded by so many corpses?
Why
Get up and bite ya!
These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
Okay.
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have respect, for dead flesh.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself.
That's actually quite wise. Rakesh is not afraid of death since he served as a medic. Oh, that's what he looks like? It's kind of hard. It's in the dark. I like how the Clay is right there, just dead. I think they expected you to kill Clay. Missy! 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 I hear that, and it annoys the hell out of me. Stop it. Just like crinkling plastic off to the side.
How did you get this job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many an unpleasant business there. Milton Hooks helped me get a job here.
Pretty sure he did find my dead body.
Do you work here alone?
Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies. The situation was very different when the main morgue was still open.
Why do you have to watch these bodies?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly, very rarely happens.
That's sad.
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest mass grave.
Oh. Alright, let's find out if he is at least going to be honest about whether or not he's seen my dead body.
Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
A funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago.
Ah.
You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
Oh, that's... I'm not. I'm glad there's no response to that because that was too sad. That was way sadder than I expected it to be.
A pawnbroker? I expect you get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir.
I didn't understand that was going to be like a really angry
and all my
response.
clients are good people. In fact, I think I only know good people.
Okay. It's just weird, dude.
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade. I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy. I like to help.
That's fair. Why is this hint question?
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No. I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short,
that was a
and the
atheist
obstacles are endless.
Do you think you would enjoy immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life, and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay, sir. Even goodwill.
I didn't get he was ready to die from that statement. I got that he was willing to accept death if it came to him. Which is not the same thing.
Do you really believe goodwill cannot last?
As I said, sir, everything decays. If I was to never die, goodness, I would be bored or worse. And I like to be helpful, sir.
Quite depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but the good news
don't
is
think it's depressing.
We'll all die before losing our humanity, sir.
I wish. What's he got?
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course.
After I insulted you
it's
for doing
just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
Scott, coding. You consider coding a trinket? I don't consider it a trinket. Opium? Opium is not a fucking trinket. Ooh. I am gonna buy this. I don't know what it is. It seems important.
I'm sorry you ended up on my plain and cold medical bench, sir. I understand you must be very angry about this unfair situation. I managed to arrange to have you buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help.
He doesn't believe in life after death, but he believes in talking to the dead after they have died. He's slightly counter. Like, just slight cognitive dissonance, unless he knows he has a reason to talk like that. Like another one. Like an emotional one. Crumpled letter. Dear love, I finally found the missing money for the fee asked by the ambulance driver to bring you to the hospital. Don't worry about nothing now except getting better, for I took care of everything. I asked some of our neighbors, and they told me that this Mr. Hooks is something of an honest crook. He may ask for extra money in exchange for a bed. But the bed is then guaranteed. I'm sorry I refused to pay first, and I realize now that the important thing is that you get better soon. The Pembroke Hospital is a good place, I heard, despite the bad behavior of this Milton Hooks. I promise you that everything is okay now. I'll see you in your clean bed as soon as possible. With fondest love, Nikolai. Nikolai? I feel like I should have a hint now on him. This guy. What is with you two? Milton runs rackets on some of the Pembroke's patients. You two. Why was that on a dead body? It worries me that you murdered someone. Nurses are needed now. In the name of mercy, they depend on you. Nurses are needed now. Inquire at the nearest Labor and National... Do I have anything more to say to...
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening,
Fiddick.
Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
Oh, I do have some more. Hint required.
You seem worried about the safety of your family. And it's obviously the reason why your wound troubles you so much.
I cannot give up on my children now. They both need me living.
What about their mother, if I may ask?
She died in 1915 during one of the first Zeppelin raids. We never found her body.
Ooh.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
Okay.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
That's not really your fault, man. Because guess what? There were German pilots dropping those bombs.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Seems like misplaced guilt for the most part.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army. Building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
Who's taking care of your children right now? I mean, is one of them, like, old enough to watch the other one?
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
Oh god, that would have been horrible. He probably would have just committed suicide.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down, my boy.
This hospital seems to be...
I have all the hints. Harvey's wife died during the war. Harvey's blaming himself for his injury. Doesn't really seem like... he's responsible
but
for,
in the circumstances, I'm willing to
any of
give
those things, honestly. I think he's just stressed out and blaming himself for it. Which is sad.
The pain. It's here again.
Oh. Sorry. Okay, we're gonna go this way. You two have fun with your weird vampire play. What's out here? Public notice. Prevent influenza. Cover each cough and sneeze with handkerchief. Walk to work. Do not spit. Drink from your own cup. Avoid crowds. If taken ill, go to bed and send for a doctor. To make a mask, take a piece of ordinary cheesecloth, 8 by 16 inches. Fold it to make it 8 by 8 inches. Next, fold this to make it 8 by 4 inches. The cords about 10 inches long at each corner. Apply, cover over mouth and nose as shown in picture. And it will be absolutely useless since influenza is not going to be stopped by cheesecloth. Hate to break it to you. It's not going to work. In fact, during the Spanish flu, doctors even knew that they weren't going to work. It's funny how we had to relearn that fucking lesson. Greece! Yay! I love Greece! How am I? I hate games that you press M to oh god. Oh my god, it's a fucking monster! Oh my god. I really was not expecting that, and my health just got super fucked up from that. Wait, where is... How do I get back to the hospital? Got all turned around. I like how it's like, Perry! Okay, now that I have Perry, will you stop showing up? Let's go back inside the hospital. Apparently there's monsters out there. Good to know. So glad I found out about them. A long letter. Birmingham, October 27th. Hello sis, how are things in the big city? Here in Brum, what an interesting name, things are not so good. It seems the flu is here again, and we have many new cases of infection in the neighborhood. Do you remember Ms. Shelter, the old drinking hag from the 3rd floor? She passed away 2 days ago, and her flat is already occupied again. Geez, you would have to pay me a huge amount of money to go sleep in the bed in which a woman died of the flu just a few hours ago. Sorry, I did not take time to quickly answer your last letter. Between taking care of little Paul, Mom, and Dad, and my job at the factory, I rarely find time to write to my favorite sister. Do you only have one? By the way, my son says hello to his Auntie Pippa. This is a letter to Pippa. You should see the little bugger. Already driving me mad, and Mom says you bring back some of those marvelous cakes the next time you come back home. In your last letter, you told me you thought about quitting your job at the Pembroke Hospital. I have to tell you, Pip, you better think twice. There are always jobs at the factory, but wages are shit, and it's as boring as a day without a shag. Oh, I have a new fiancé, and no, I'm no slut, you moral bitch, you. This is definitely someone's sibling. So if you really want to quit and do something more useful than counting the dead every morning, maybe you better stay in London and join that band you told me about, the Guard of... or Preven? Something like that? Never heard of them. But if they are, like you said, some sort of civil militia trained to make a difference, then maybe it's a good choice for you. Ooh. Just be sure to let the others go in front. That's how my poor Billy got killed in France, by leading too many patrols. Bloody war. Anyway, come back as soon as you can, and give me all the good news before that. I am your affectionate sister, Lucy, Paul, Mum, and Dad. No. Why aren't you escaping? So now I have more information on Pippa, don't I? Pippa is thinking about quitting the Pembroke Hospital.
It's locked.
And then this leads outside too. Why? If there's zombies outside, why do we just have the doors wide open? Seems kind of dangerous. There's monsters outside. I thought this district was healthy. I was attacked. I don't want to get closer to my office yet. Oh, it connects. That's locked. This says Dr. Swansea.
Not now.
Alright, well, fuck you too. On the second floor. Go up to the third. What is up here? I can't open that. Interesting. It's not even something that I can open later. How about the other side? You know, this hospital has a lot of non-bed space in it. What is up in the third floor? Why is there even a third floor? Oh, I can't go that way. Great. Eventually, though. Rest to evolve. That's what Darwin was talking about, right? Just did a big ass blade. A used hacksaw. Woo! T. Elwood's medical file. Thomas Elwood, male, age 28. This is the guy with the fucked up face. Followed by Dr. Tippett's status convalescence. Date of admission September 16th. Date of release to be determined. Notes: the patient's face has been heavily burnt and disfigured by a bomb during the war. Even with the use of the strongest sedatives, he affirms to regularly endure severe pain from the wounds, as if the flames are still burning under the skin. He says examinations of the cicatrized tissues show no trace of inflammation, infection, or swelling. Scars are clean. Could it be a case of persisting nerve damage? That's what I said! The patient never ceases to blame himself for his disfiguration. Could it be a case of guilt of the survivor, phantom pain manifesting as a punishment for not dining with his comrades? New hint? Yes. Let's go talk to Elton then. Got some gin. It wasn't good gin, but I got some gin. Whose office is that? Tippett's?
It's locked, all right.
I like how they already got a plaque made for me so fast. Hideout. You just found a new hideout. Here you can spend your XP while resting or craft items at the workbench.
This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes.
It's huge,
Relegated
too.
to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin.
He also got the windows covered really fast. It's impressive. Dr. Swansea's message. Dear Jonathan, we literally walked away from each other like an hour and 20 minutes ago. You wrote me a letter? I asked Nurse Crane to secure an office for you on the second floor. Please forgive the austere decoration, but Pembroke Hospital is not exactly the Ritz. Sorry to let you discover your office alone, but I need to sleep a little before going back to work. I'm just a mere mortal. Well, I'm probably gonna sleep too, after all. I also gave orders to let you rest and for the staff to never enter your room. So I have to clean my own room? You will be able to sleep all day without being disturbed and work at night without raising any suspicion. I'm afraid the place is quite messy, but you'll be able to conduct your experiments here at your own pace. You'll also notice there is an open window with a scaffolding that will allow you to enter or exit the hospital without being noticed. I imagine how awfully new and disturbing this all must be for you. You know, you moved really fast on getting my accommodations, like, perfect. Believe me, I have studied enough of your species to understand that you must now be facing what you must now be facing and feeling. Be assured, I'll do whatever I can to help you in this ordeal. Know that you're not completely alone facing it. I'm glad I met you, these dark times we are all presently facing. Why does that clause not really have a verb? Like, it has a verb, but it's not the verb of the actual clause. So it's just this broken clause. I said I was going to give them a break, but I'm sorry, that really threw me off. I hope our future collaboration will yield great results. Welcome to Pembroke, my esteemed colleague. We shall talk soon. Yours sincerely, Edgar Griffin Swansea. P.S. I left a copy of some of my notes concerning what I have discovered about Ecton in the last few years. What? What are you referring to? Feel free to read about it if you need some guidance, as long as you don't use this knowledge to take advantage of me. I'm not sure what you mean by that. articles on ectins. It is a rare opportunity and almost a privilege to approach a vampire, to observe their most intriguing physical and physiological traits with a scientific and rational eye. Here are some of the most fascinating abilities I've personally observed over the last 10 years. 10 years you've been? Well, no wonder you're like so chill about this. While interviewing a few vampires, or ectin as they prefer to call themselves? Really? Supernatural speed. A vampire can act and move like a mortal in all his actions, but the trained eye will spot that they have the keenest senses. What does this have to do with speed? And can react quicker than any mortal. On a few occasions, alarm, surprise, necessity to flee, I have seen a vampire move so quickly it is almost as if he had vanished just to reappear somewhere else. The human eye cannot follow their movements when they act so quickly. But yeah, that's the thing about frames per second on video games and videos, is that sometimes we go so high on frames per second, we surpass the number of essentially frames per second the human brain can even perceive, which is silly at that point. Shouldn't we just max out at frames per second the human brain is capable of visualizing? Otherwise, like, we're just wasting resources software-wise to get further than that. I understand from a scientific perspective why you might need more frames per second, because you can slow them down at that point and catch things you couldn't. But in video games, what's the point? It is only a but it is not a teleport or dematerialization. It is only a supernatural speed. For me, it is a cat-like attribute which allows them to run, dodge, or jump longer and faster than us. I also notice that such speed seems to exhaust them and that they are bound to physical limitations. Mesmerization. Mesmerism. One of the most powerful abilities a vampire can deploy is the capacity to force a mortal to obey them. I call this trait mesmerism, but it has nothing to do with the mortal ability to alter a subject's mental state. A vampire can bend a mortal to their will, and they can even break a mind. A vampire I interviewed even told me the more a subject tries to resist, the more permanent the damage will be, as if the vampire could... God damn it! Stupid game! I'm reading your own goddamn lore! As if the vampire could literally fracture their target's psyche. The same vampire explained to me that this ability required time to master, and that the result could vary widely, I hate that word, from one subject to another. Implant a false memory, erase a painful one. The possibilities are endless and frightening. Blood awareness. This may be the most catastrophic ability of all concerning vampires, since it is the cause of so many tragedies for them and us. Vampires crave for blood. They must use their will to restrain themselves from frenziedly drinking every drop of blood they can see. They need blood to function and to express their full supernatural traits. A famished vampire can be very weak, even if he cannot die of hunger or thirst. This urge, this need for blood, may explain why a vampire is so aroused by it. I hope you didn't mean sexually aroused. A vampire confessed to me that blood could sometimes blind him, since its smell and attractiveness can be so strong. When he focuses, a vampire can almost see blood all around them, inside warm bodies, through walls, on a supposedly clean weapon, etc. The same vampire even told me that he can see if a mortal has clean blood or is ill, and that in some cases he can even sense diseases, infected clothes, or even items in a room. If this is true, it could have so many medical applications, it almost beggars belief. And that's why he's so excited that Dr. Reed is a vampire. How did Swansea convince so many vampires to just reveal all this? What did he do for them?
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Crafting. On a workbench, you can craft medical treatments to heal sick citizens, serums to boost yourself, weapon upgrades to improve and customize your weapons. You first need to analyze the components. Oh wait, I took this, right, the enigmatic formula. You found to unlock new recipes. Click on the to analyze components. Ooh, nice. Light regeneration serum. Regenerate 300 health points instantly, then 150 health points over 15 seconds. I need a glass vial. I need a watery, sturdy blood sample. It's really weird phrasing. Ferrous tartrate, sodium hypochlorite solution, treatment for sepsis, treat for anemia, treatment for fatigue, treatment for cold, treatment for bronchitis, treatment for pneumonia. I do have some fatigued patients, but I don't have quinine, ferrous tartrate, or sodium hypochlorite solution. So many glass vials. I have more fucking grease than I have anything else. I can get ferrous tartrate from this. I definitely don't need glass vials. This one takes... okay. Can this stun?
William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now.
Did I just lose audio? No, I guess. His audio just cut out. Take a nap. By which I mean, let me upgrade shit. Body. Increase your health. Increase your stamina. Increase your blood capacity. Increase your blood absorption when using bite in combat. Increase the damage inflicted when using bite in combat. Increase your life regeneration when using bite in combat. Laws. Chateau West. Wait, what's one? guess I talked to so many people and found so many hints. I got a lot of XP from all that. Defensive. Coagulation. You will block your target's blood in their veins, making them defenseless. Ooh. You create an invisible barrier, absorbing direct damage until it fades or is destroyed. Vampire will concentrate on the prey's blood, stopping them in their tracks, making them defenseless. It's easier to kill something that can't move. Great. God, why does Jonathan looks like shit? Tactical. You perform a supernatural move to your target and cause damage upon landing. Shadow Veil. 5 stamina used per second when walking. 2.5 stamina used per second when standing still. Drain your stamina to fade into the shadows and become invisible to most enemies. Moving in this state will drain more stamina. You will exit the shadows if you attack or dodge, or when your stamina is empty. This one sounds interesting. Seems helpful for, you know, sneaking. The shadows help hide the vampire, turning them invisible to the uninitiated. In return, it drains the vampire's stamina if they move. Once a vampire's... Nope. I'm going to do it. Stamina is empty. They will become visible again. A useful tip. Rookie, if you think you see something moving, shoot. Shoot? Shoot what? Just shoot. Oh, it's science. You can now carry 3 serums on you. Increase the number of bullets you can carry. Okay. A lot of XP this time. Would you go sit down? No, no. Confirm. You distracted me. The following night. Major district events. Every night, the consequences of your actions may improve or degrade the district health status. It can also be degraded due to diseases spreading among citizens. The more lives you take, the unhealthier a district becomes. I don't really think that makes sense, because there should have 0 health effect from dead people. If a district's health status drops down the critical threshold, it will plunge into chaos. It is for you to decide of a district's fate. Don't say it. I killed him. I need to find Pippa. in Milton and talk to them. I need to also talk to Gwyneth. I think those are the only people I haven't talked to. Well, besides who are these unknown people?
If I'm to stay here until my research is complete, I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood?
I'm not that hungry. Still need to find out who's spying on them. Open? No? Okay.
I'm not one to make wait, Doctor. I've patients to attend.
Well, don't be a bitch. I just woke up.
I'm not one to make wait, Doctor.
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Beyond the normal?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
You really need to, like, wash your hands. There's nothing here?
Sorry. There's nothing here.
Some of the patients won't last the night without them. Honestly, sir, I'm beside myself.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch instead. Now, where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored in the old morgue.
Perhaps I should look there first. Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way then. Thank you, nurse.
That's so real. Well, that's all the other doctor's office. They're like, why did the new doctor get the giant office and we all have to share? What a dick. I'm gonna do this citizen investigation. I got spine.
I hope that might help.
Forgetting that hitting M again does not make it close, which pisses me off, because it should. Oh my god, I just did it again!
spotted! Oh, Christ! Christ, he's
Ow!
dead!
Stop it! Stop it! I did not know what buttons those were on. Bullets. Small bag of junk. Always useful. Survey mission, October 25th, from Guard of Frywin Command Post to East End Patrols. Object: Vampire activity, hospital, survey, investigate. 3 days ago, one of our new recruits heard a rumor about the presence of a female vampire hiding in the Pembroke Hospital, London East End. All we have is her first name, Thelma. Your mission is to discreetly go there and observe any suspicious activity concerning said leech. Then report directly back to us, and we will decide what action should be taken. Thelma is suspected by Prywin agents to be a real vampire, and she is definitely not. Hi, sweetie. Where are we talking? I need to get to another autosave point. I don't know how to trigger those. Beyond, like, just going on the story. Does changing districts do it? Doesn't seem so. Curfew. Official health warning to citizens of London. Curfew. Official health warning. Curfew will be sounded at 9 p.m. by the church bells. All citizens must keep off the streets from that time until 5 a.m. I hear monsters. Until further notice, a citywide curfew has been implemented. It is imperative that you wear your mask to prevent the spread of infection. If any member of your household becomes ill, inform the authorities immediately, because authorities are awesome. Due to the curfew not opened after 9 p.m. This district is not healthy, I am imagining, from the sounds I am hearing. Get it. Jesus Christ, man. Oh my god, just let me close it using M as well. Health status in Whitechapel is serious. Are you a bad guy? I think you are. Yep. How did you know? damn. Damn it, I just died. I don't like third-person combat. I'm just trying to... Like, that's not Warframe. Warframe is way better at doing third-person combat than any other game I've ever played. Most things make it awkward. Alright. I'm gonna stop there. So let me talk about the schedule. Tonight is Gaming Review First Impression. The game is Metro 2033 Redux, actually. If you were in my Discord, you would see that clip. Tomorrow night, nothing. Tuesday night, Baldur's Gate 3. Wednesday night, Diablo 4. So, because I'm just trying to complete the main campaign at this point. I don't know that I'm gonna keep playing it, really. And then, oh, also Wednesday at noon, rerun of this, for everyone. And if you're watching it then, join my Discord to be able to watch it actually on Sunday. Thursday night, Beverly's channel, we are watching Run Lola Run and Source Code because we're doing Groundhog Day movies. Friday night, the dim side on Rumble, we're watching news and politics. We're talking about news and politics. Saturday at 3 p.m., Caleb Beer's channel on YouTube, we are talking about Theft of Fire, chapters 11 to 13. Saturday night, Darkest Dungeon. Sunday at noon, the exclusive live stream. Join my Discord or pay me to get access to that. And then nothing Sunday night. That is the schedule. You can the next book club is February 24th at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. The book is Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. If you want to be part of the book club on the live stream, you can join my Discord to get access to that. Or you can just watch it when we live stream it. And I'm trying to think. You can join my locals to get access to anything that is exclusive here, or and also extra exclusives that are not available here, mostly me writing. And you can buy my book. There's a link in the description of this video. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Merch. Yeah. Check out my new shop at cafepress.com/AlexofAllTrades for all kinds of products with my face on them.